Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com here with your free early look ahead at the Ohio State versus Maryland college football matchup on Saturday, October 7th, 2023. Here at Pickdawgz, we cover all the games every day, and what we do with these early look videos is we just take a first look at all the big games on the college and NFL schedule coming up this week, and we just take a look at where the lines are, what the teams that are playing, and maybe some first impressions. Of course, I do my final picks later on in the week. Friday, Saturday is when I start to see where the lines start to shake out on these things, because I'm not going to give out picks that you guys can't bet anymore. Nothing fun about that. But I think this is an interesting matchup here with this Ohio State team that the last we saw of them was, of course, at South Bend, Indiana, scoring with 1 second left to go, putting it in the end zone against a Notre Dame team that only had 10 men on the field. It was a back and forth type game, and it was a very low scoring game, which, it happens, but was it a mark against Ohio State's offense? I think that the offense really isn't 100% there. I understand they put up 63 points on Western Kentucky, but they also only put up 35 on Youngstown State and 23 against a not very good Indiana team. So which Ohio State team are we going to see in this game against a Maryland team that we know can put points on the board because they have one of the better quarterbacks in the nation in Tagliavoa? And this is a team that's put up 38, 41, 42, 44 points. And I think the last time we saw an offense that was just prolific like this come into Columbus, it was the Oregon Ducks a few years ago, and they absolutely routed Ohio State, just ran them right out of the building. I'm not saying Maryland is quite on that level, but I think, Maryland has been a team that's been very, very good at home and not so good on the road historically. And this is their chance. This is their big step-up game to at least show up and be counted. And I think it's a very, very big game for both of these programs. Ohio State knows that, it all goes through Penn State and Michigan this year in the Big Ten for them. And, they need to remain relevant at that point. It's when they're playing those teams. A loss against a team like Maryland could really, really damage them. Maryland comes into this one winning 7 games in a row. They've covered in 6 of their last 8. Their last time they played these two teams, it was at Maryland last year. It was later in the year in November, and it was Ohio State winning 43-30 as a 25-point favorite. So it was the Terps covering in that one. Ohio State, they're a good team. They're always going to have a lot of talent. But the Ohio State teams that we've seen in recent years, especially last year, when they had Stroud and, that core of receivers and, a lot of the running back, Henderson, like they have now at running back. But, they couldn't get past Georgia in what was one of the better college football games of the year last year, 42-41. And, I think that was kind of their crowning moment. And I know that Ryan Day, can say, well, Lou Holtz motivated us against Notre Dame and all that other stuff. But the reality of it is, if Notre Dame has that 11th man on the field, exactly where you ran that football, there's a guy standing there, and maybe you get in, and maybe you don't get in. I mean, it could have gone either way because there was only 10 men on the field for both those plays. Of course, we can't take that touchdown away from Ohio State or say it didn't happen or didn't count, and we can't discredit the win over Notre Dame by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm not really looking at just the Notre Dame game. I'm looking at all of the other games outside of Western Kentucky, who's an outright sieve. I think Maryland, not known for their big-time defense, but they have been in a lot of one-sided games this year, and I think that their offense is going to be able to put points on the board. I think the Buckeyes might be in trouble here, and at the very least, I'm going to take the generous number here with Maryland. At least that's my early lean. Of course, be sure to check out our live show on Thursday, our college football live show with myself, Ron Romanelli, and Chris Ruffalo. Of course, we also will have our final videos on this game later on in the week, as well as free and premium picks on the website. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have an awesome day. Love me some college football.